My gorgeous boss passed out drunk after a night out. I took her to my apartment and put her in my bed. The next day, she woke up and glared at me sleeping on the couch. Panicking, she asked, "What's going on here?" The next morning, nursing a hangover and holding her temples, my boss, rose from the bed. She glared at me and waited for an answer. She was also disturbed to find that the clothes she was wearing had been replaced with a set of men's tracksuits. My name is Mark Fullerton. I'm 27 years old and work in the advertising department of a consumer goods company. I'm kind-hearted, or rather, I often struggle with not being able to say no firmly. I frequently find myself helping out with tasks at work that aren't my responsibility. "Mark, you're just the person I was looking for. Could you prepare this report for me?" When a colleague puts it that way, even if my own tasks are piling up, I usually reply, "Yeah, sure." I'm a soft-spoken guy, so I guess it's easy to ask me for favors. I don't mind being relied upon. However, I often prioritize others' requests too much and sometimes end up overwhelmed. You should finish your own work before helping others, that's just common sense. It's great to be helpful and a team player, but don't let people take advantage of you. My boss, Jessica Thomas, always sternly advises me every time I report that my own work is behind schedule. I am deservingly reprimanded. However strict in her tone, Jessica is a compassionate person who always comes to the rescue when needed. It can't be helped. I'll help you out, so bring me half of it. Thanks to her, I manage to meet deadlines and balance my tasks along with the ones my colleagues dump on me. She takes care of her struggling team members, grumbling but still helping us out all the same. There's such a thing as being too nice, she always tells me, but fundamentally, I think she's no different. If I'm the first person my colleagues run to for help with work, then Jessica is their last resort. Well-regarded, beautiful, kind, and cheerful, she is beloved by everyone. By the way, Mark, have you been eating properly? You seem to have lost weight again. She always keeps an eye on her team, even caring about their health. Naturally, many male colleagues harbor feelings for her. However, a while back at a drinking party, Jessica revealed she had a boyfriend, which came as a shock to many male colleagues, myself included. "I've actually got a boyfriend recently. Having a fulfilling private life really boosts my motivation at work," she said. Watching her radiant smile as she happily shared this, I realized I had unconsciously developed feelings for her. Realizing my feelings coincided with the heartbreak of knowing she was taken. Since I hadn't been aware of it myself, there was no way I'd talk about these feelings to others. I convinced myself to keep them to myself. With the launch of a new product, the whole company was in a frenzy. My department, the advertising division, was especially busy. It was an annual event, but this year it seemed harder to keep up with work than usual. The cause was Jessica's poor performance. "Come on, let's dig deep and push through this." That's how she usually inspires and motivates her team. Even if a colleague makes a mistake, she's the first to step in and cover for them. However, she was the one making mistakes, one after another, which was unlike her. On top of that, her complexion was pale, and she was talking much less than usual. I found Jessica distracted when questioned about this issue. Eventually, some tasks were delayed, and our entire department received an earful from the CEO. "I'm truly sorry for my mistakes and for getting our division into trouble," Jessica tearfully apologized to everyone, but of course, no one blamed her. "She's definitely not herself. How about we cheer her up with a year-end party?" Someone suggested, and everyone agreed. Some colleagues volunteered to organize it. We were worried whether Jessica, clearly still down, would attend. Surprisingly, she nodded with an awkward smile. A year-end party sounds nice. However, at the party, she still looked glum, sitting at the edge and not talking to anyone, just drinking somberly. "I'm just bringing everyone down by being like this. Sorry for ruining the fun plan for me," Jessica whispered to me, and with that, she hurriedly left. I wanted to say something comforting to her teary eyes, but I'm not the type to come up with the right words. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 2. Update. My gorgeous boss passed out drunk after a night out. I took her to my apartment and put her in my bed. The next day, she woke up and glared at me sleeping on the couch. Panicking, she asked. Part 2. Clever words on the fly. Hey, maybe she broke up with her boyfriend, someone speculated after Jessica had left. Such speculation arose without anyone in particular starting it. I'd never seen her like that since I joined the company. Remembering how happy she was talking about her boyfriend, it kind of made sense. It was painful to watch her so down, but I felt guilty for even thinking that now might be my chance. The gathering ended awkwardly, and everyone just dispersed. I also made my way home, and just as I was approaching my apartment building, I stumbled upon a shocking scene at the trash dumping area. Jessica was slumped over the garbage, completely drunk. "Jessica, what are you doing here? Are you okay?" I called out to her, but she could barely open her heavy eyelids. She was in no state to be left alone. After tapping her shoulder and calling her several times, she finally responded, "Just let me sleep a bit more." The name Henry stabbed me like a knife. I thought, probably her boyfriend. The throbbing pain in my chest made me realize I still had feelings for her. Up close, Jessica looked truly beautiful, even her flushed cheeks were adorable. But soon, her face paled, and she seemed nauseous. I ended up carrying her over my shoulder to my room. What's going on here? The next morning, suffering from a hangover or maybe just a headache, she pressed her temples but managed to get out of bed, glaring at me as I lay on the couch. She was upset to find herself wearing a men's tracksuit instead of her attire from the night before. I calmed down Jessica, who was starting to panic, and explained what happened last night. I couldn't just leave her in that state, so I brought her to my room. Jessica had vomited at my apartment's entrance, and her suit got dirty, so I changed her clothes while trying my best not to look. I wiped the suit with a damp towel, but it might be better to send it for cleaning. Oh, and just so you know, those sweatpants are clean. Hearing the circumstances, Jessica hurriedly apologized. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience I've caused you, Mark. Thank you so much for looking out for me, she said apologetically. With her hair in a mess and her makeup smeared, she looked far from her usual perfect self at the office, but somehow, she was adorable. After expressing her apologies and gratitude, she looked around my small studio apartment with a kitchen. Seeing the overflowing garbage bags of takeaway fast food, she sighed. As I thought, you really haven't been eating properly. As an apology for the inconvenience I've caused, I'll make you a meal today. I was concerned about her condition and tried to decline, but she wouldn't hear of it. The meal she quickly whipped up with whatever was in the fridge was incredibly delicious. Seeing how much I enjoyed her cooking seemed to please her. If you're that happy, I'll cook for you again, she said happily. However, perhaps because she had been out in the cold for some time last night, she started showing symptoms of a cold. The headache she had when she woke up might have been partly due to the hangover, but then she gradually started to feel chills. Fortunately, it's the weekend. It's a bit cramped here, but would you like to stay a little longer, just until you feel better? I offered. I couldn't just send her back in her condition. I owe you big time for all the trouble I'm putting you through. Thank you so much for offering, she said apologetically, but she accepted my offer. I went to the supermarket to pick up some essentials and vitamin drinks for her. By the next day, she had recovered. I feel like I've had a good rest for the first time in a while, thanks to you, Mark, she smiled warmly before leaving my apartment. The next day at work, in an empty break room, Jessica approached me. I owe you a lot for all the help you've given me, so I want to thank you. What would you like? She asked, flashing her usual perfect smile. If it's not too much trouble, I'd like to have your cooking again, I replied. Her eyes lit up, and there was a huge smile plastered on her face. Of course, I'd be happy to, she said. From then on, she would come over on weekends to cook. Your place is surprisingly comfy, she would say. She even stayed over sometimes, yet there was no. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 3.
Final update. My gorgeous boss passed out drunk after a night out. I took her to my apartment and put her in my bed. The next day, she woke up and glared at me sleeping on the couch. Panicking, she asked. Part 2. The change in our relationship, from just boss and subordinate, was subtle. We would talk about work or watch movies together. It was an odd but enjoyable time. Still, the name Henry was stuck in my mind. I felt like asking her about it, but I was afraid it might ruin these happy moments. As our strange relationship continued, Jessica gradually regained her spirits. Her smile became more frequent, and she behaved more cheerfully at work. Jessica seems to be back to her old self lately. Could it be she got back together with her boyfriend? I overheard my colleagues whispering rumors and saw the downcast male employees. I couldn't help but feel a bit of superiority. I knew a side of Jessica that no one else did. I was spending time with her that everyone else didn't know about, and it thrilled me immensely. Jessica is coming over this weekend too. I've been cleaning since the morning, all excited. Right, I need to air out the place too, I said aloud. But before I even opened the windows, I heard voices, a man and a woman, coming from outside. Could it be an argument? I opened the window skeptically, and the sound of their argument became clearer. Isn't that Jessica? The woman's voice sounded familiar. I was quite certain it was Henry Smith from sales, the department's top performer. Could he be the Henry that Jessica was calling out for when she was drunk? I wondered, rushing out of my unit to where the two were arguing. Please, I want to try again, Jessica pleaded. Henry retorted sharply, you cheated on me, and now you say this? I hurriedly stepped between them as the situation seemed to be escalating. Hey, both of you need to calm down, I interjected. Henry glanced at me dismissively. Who is this guy? Is he your new man? He asked Jessica. He's one of my team members, she replied, which stung, but I had to keep my composure. Well, of course, a wimpy guy like him isn't really your type, Henry remarked callously, hurting my pride. I stood there silently, not knowing what to say. Henry declared, I'm not giving up just like that, before taking his leave. I ushered Jessica inside and offered her a warm drink. But both of us were shaken and needed to calm down. Holding the mug with both hands, Jessica began to talk bit by bit. You probably figured it out, but I was dating him. We were together until just before the end of last year, right before I started acting strangely. We kept our relationship a secret at work to avoid complications. We were even planning to get married, but suddenly Henry broke it off. He was going to have a shotgun wedding with the daughter of a company executive instead, Jessica explained sadly. You were cheating on me, Henry accused, laughing dismissively. Hurt by such exchanges and feeling used, Jessica couldn't focus on her work. I hate myself for not focusing at work due to personal issues. I tried to drink it off, but the next thing I knew, I was passed out near his apartment. That's when you stumbled upon me and brought me to your place, Jessica confessed. Spending time together and your cooking slowly healed me. Staying at your place with you felt warm and good for my tattered heart. Just as I was back to my happy old self at the office, that exchange with Henry took place, Jessica sighed. How can he say he can't forget me and wants me as his mistress? Who does he think he is? Tears welled up in Jessica's eyes as she spoke. And yet I hate that I'm still shaken by such a despicable man, she admitted. I talk big about not being used, but here I am, just the same, using you to distract myself. I'm terrible too. She apologized deeply to me. I simply shook my head and smiled gently. No, it's okay. I'm willing to be used by you however you like, I reassured her. Taking a deep breath, I confessed boldly, you are my aspiration, a very important and beloved woman to me. I can't stand to see someone like you being used. Hearing my words, Jessica covered her mouth in surprise, but I continued without hesitation. I don't want to hand you over to that man, not to someone who won't cherish you. Jessica smiled and said, thank you. She then decided to meet with Henry again, this time with me accompanying her. Why are you here again? Henry was furious upon seeing me. Jessica grinned. Let me introduce you to my new boyfriend, she declared, linking arms with me. That's impossible. There's no way you'd date someone like him, Henry protested. Indeed, this was a lie Jessica had concocted to push Henry away. If he's really your boyfriend, prove it with a kiss right now, Henry taunted. Without hesitation, Jessica kissed me. Seeing this, Henry was enraged and stormed off. While I was still stunned by the feel of Jessica's lips, she looked at me, appearing more beautiful than ever. This is how I feel. I don't want to let you go to anyone else either, I confessed. And that's how we started dating. I have a boyfriend now. It's Mark, Jessica boldly announced in front of everyone at work. Our colleagues were surprised. So you were the guy troubling Jessica? Never thought Mark would be such a heartbreaker, though some male colleagues who had feelings for Jessica criticized me. I could only give a wry smile. That was her ex. Of course, I didn't mention any names. Later, it turned out Henry had been caught cheating with another woman, and his wedding with the executive's daughter was called off due to his indiscretions. The executive was furious, and Henry was fired. It seems that the other woman he was cheating with was married, and the whole situation was a mess. Can you believe he was juggling 3 women? Jessica said, laughing beside me.